Welcome to Coffee in the Barn, where every cup tells a story. With a rotating lineup of hosts, we invite you to join us as we explore the diverse challenges and triumphs of modern life and the heart of agriculture. From the fields to the classroom, from innovators to everyday visionaries, each episode brings a fresh perspective and a new voice. So brew yourself a cup of coffee, settle in, and let's uncover the stories that shape our lives, our farms, and our communities.
Welcome to this week's episode of Coffee in the Barn. This week we have Kourtney Talkington with us. She is a mother of 4, fifth generation, rooted in agriculture, and a mindful eating advocate. She is empowering women to savor life and connect deeply by embracing joy, letting go of guilt, and listening to their body. I know she is currently living in Kansas, correct?
Yep. Born and raised, for the last 100 years.
Well, welcome to Coffee in the Barn this week.
Thank you. Today, my coffee is fueled by Casey's, so.
So I know we met a couple weeks ago, actually, in one of Casey Bull's mind empowering groups, bringing like-minded individuals together just to kind of talk about agriculture topics and just kind of share our stories. And I was really captivated by Kourtney and what, she's kind of had to overcome as a working mother, and just kind of the challenges that you've had to go through, carving out your career and whatnot. And so could you share a little bit with our audience, kind of your background and what your business ventures look like today and life today for you?
Yes, I can. Okay. So actually the reason I know Casey is through Emily Rushell. So shout out to Emily. She has the podcast, Gathering Growth, and I just love her podcast. But my name is Kourtney Talkington. I grew up in rural Western Kansas. I'm a mother of 4, 2 boys and 2 girls. So I guess the first thing I'll start with is I was always overweight as a kid, and I was always a very emotional child and wore my emotions on my sleeve. And so I got to high school and I decided, not even for myself, it wasn't even about my health, but just because of outside pressures of everyone around me and what society online was telling me that I needed to look like, I just started to lose weight, and it was in a very unhealthy way. But at that point, eating disorders were not talked about, and it was kind of even more isolating because I did live in a rural area. And so some of those topics were kind of taboo. So I kept everything to myself. I feel like some adults did acknowledge what was going on, but they just didn't know how to approach me about it. And honestly, at the age of 16, I probably would not have listened to them. So I ultimately ended up with an eating disorder, and there was a turning point when I was 17, and I just decided I can no longer live this way. I kept missing out on memories with my friends and my family because I was so scared to go to Christmas dinner because I was afraid of all of the food there. And that is not what food is about. So I just want to hug my 16-year-old self right now because I can never get those memories back. And it honestly, it's just very emotional for me to talk about. But moving forward, I got pregnant at age 19 right after I graduated high school with my now husband. And so we made everything work out. But I honestly believe that everything that has happened to me has happened for a reason, because my son just taking a break for a year, I had a full ride to Kansas State University here in Kansas, and I was going down this career path, and I knew what I wanted. I always knew what I wanted to do. And just having that pause in my life gave me the clarity I needed, that I knew I did not need to go into that degree. So I shifted and pivoted and went into nutrition, which at that point I was doing it for, I wouldn't say selfish reasons, but more just to help myself out and learn for my own needs, not people around me. But as I've grown and gotten older, I've definitely shifted, and it's more about everyone else now and not so much myself. I've grown a lot as an individual, so I am more in tune with what my body needs, but it's helping people slow down and take the time to listen to themselves is ultimately what my mission is now.
Well, and I think just, you've had 4 kids. I'm pregnant with my 3rd, soon to be having him or her eventually within the next couple of weeks. But you learn, prior to having kids, I was involved in high endurance sports, but you learn how to listen to your body differently especially when you become pregnant.
You're forced to slow down.
Yes.
It forces you to be graceful, or to step back and pause. You don't get to just do what you want anymore. You have to consider everyone around you, not just yourself.
And then when it comes to just feeding your kids, that's a whole nother conversation.
Oh, 100%. All of them are so different.
And making sure that, you're also fueling yourself as a mom and making sure that you're getting what you need, as well as servicing the lunch menu of the always revolving.
More decisions for us to make.
I tried explaining that to my husband the other day of I need to meal prep, or at least have a 2-week calendar of this is the food that's in the fridge. This is what we can make this week, because I don't want to have to think about it come 5 o'clock after working all day. And then you pick up the kids and everyone's hungry by, 4:35.
And everybody's Mom, feed me, Mom, feed me, Mom, feed me. And then you're like, but I haven't even started yet. Yeah. And then they end up eating the whole house before you even get set for me.
Yes, exactly. Could you share a little bit more on so I know you took a break from Kansas State for a year, and then you did go back and finish your nutrition degree.
Yes. So I actually have a dual bachelor's degree. One is in nutrition and health, and one is in dietetics. So after I finished that program, I think I did it in 6 years, but that was adding 2 more children in the mix. So I graduated with the 3 children at that point, which COVID also slowed me down a little bit just because of the stress. And then we also added our 3rd child during COVID. So it was just a whole new learning experience for me at that point, which I don't know who says that you have it all figured out when you have children, but that is not true, because the 3rd one was a whole new whirlwind for me, which I don't think it was just her. I think it was also just the situation of when we had her. But so after I graduated, I had to come up with an internship. And so all of the people that live in big cities have a lot of options for in-person internships, but we had moved to the farm in 2021 after my grandpa had passed away from cancer. And so I was like, we literally just moved. I'm not uprooting my entire family to go move for an internship. If not, I guess it's just not meant for me. But I kept going. And so I started researching, and I found an internship that was virtual, but I had to build it all by myself. So it was all on me to find people that would be willing to be my preceptors or my teachers for so many months. So we have to have 1,000 hours to sit for our exam. And so I built my own internship. One was with a local lettuce farm that serves Western Kansas, which was an awesome experience for me because, of course, I've always seen wheat and milo grown, but they grow all of their lettuce in a greenhouse, and that was just an eye-opening experience for me. Like the cost of it and how they make their money and how they have to work with dietitians or the USDA to like make sure their facilities are clean and up to code, and making sure like even for transporting and things to schools and all of that. It was just very eye-opening for me. I also did part of my internship with the Dirt Road dietitian out of Oklahoma, which was completely virtual. And then I did one at my son's school district, which was a lot of fun for me because I got to see my son every day, as well as get to know the kids in the school district a lot more. So now, even a few years later, they still come up and are like, hi, and come chat with me. And they'll be like, you're the snack lady, because I also did a interactive snack with a book reading for my son's class while I was there. And so I think I did that once a month for the entire year, and they just loved it. Also with the Dirt Road dietitian, I got to go to Sioux Falls, South Dakota with her to go see a new program that was coming out at that point, and with the Beef Council, I believe. But I got to meet Olympic athletes. And so I don't know where in my head as a teenager I thought that I needed to get out of the rule setting to do awesome things, but that was a complete lie. I feel like if you put yourself out there, even when you live rurally, you can find some really cool experiences. So even the girls that were in California that I had my internship with were like shocked with the experiences I got out of the internship with living out in the middle of nowhere. They're like, that is way cooler than the internship experience I got. So I was just pretty proud of myself and like putting myself out there and looking for cool experiences. And I said yes, and they came, and it was an amazing experience. But I also figured out, I think it was about a little over halfway with my internship, I found out I was pregnant with our fourth. So a change of plans, and it slowed me down. But I think ultimately it was just another thing in my journey to like slow me down just a little bit more, because this year for me has been working on me as a person and like my personal growth. And I kind of felt like I lost myself in motherhood a little bit. And especially after getting out of school, like I feel most people have that journey when they're like alone and they get out of school and they're like, well, what do I do with my life now? Well, I had 3 kids, going to be 4, and my husband, and I was like, well, what do I do now? But like I had all this other stuff to worry about too. So I feel like I kind of lost myself. So getting that year to myself really gave me some clarity, and being able to like sit back and say, Kourtney, what do you want?
And you kind of have came up with your answer, right?
Yes. So
what does that look like?
So I am starting a group coaching program for women during the holidays called Savor the Season, a joyful approach to food. And the women that I will be coaching will get every other week group calls, as well as a exclusive Instagram group for us to chat for some extra support over the holidays. Because honestly, sometimes our friends and family that are local to us just do not understand what we're going through. I did a poll the other day on Instagram on what about the holidays makes you stress out when food is around. And most people said family or friend triggers, which I guess I'm not shocked. But I kind of was a little bit. So I feel like just having that outside group of people that understand the things that you're going through would really help women just feel better and get rid of the shame and guilt that comes with it, because you shouldn't be feeling that way. Food is about connection and celebration and being present with your family. You don't want to be focusing on, oh, my aunt said I can't have that piece of pie because I look like I've gained 20 pounds. So just growing and just feeling better and having somebody there to hold your hand.
And just having the positive relationship with food.
Yes, I feel like as a society, we have taken the emotion out of food. and just focus on the nutritional value. And that is not all that it is. For years and generations, even in the agriculture space, food has been used to celebrate and bring joy to occasions. So like harvest time. My favorite memories as a kid was going out in the field and going out and seeing the guys and experiencing wheat harvest or Milo harvest. It brought us together. You built memories. And honestly, I think that's what my grandpa looked forward to the most, was to see the grandkids out in the wheat field and being able to share those memories and the times with us. And it probably brought him back to his childhood, which is all about emotion and what food brings to us. Because honestly, I would love to have a slice of my grandma's pie right now, and it would bring me back so many memories.
What's better than a great cup of coffee? A great coffee mug to match your personality while you listen to the next episode of Coffee in the Barn. At Buy Blackett, we've got mugs that'll make you laugh, smile, and show off your unique style, all while keeping your coffee warm. Whether you're into heartwarming messages or hilarious designs, there's something for everyone. Plus, every purchase supports Coffee in the Barn and helps us keep bringing you the content you love. So grab your next favorite mug today. Visit buyblackett.com/animistic and use the promo code animistic for exclusive deals. Let's type that out because there's 2 T's in this. So the website again is www.buyblackett.com/animistic. Buy Blackett. Funny mugs, unique vibes, and you're supporting your favorite podcast.
Most definitely. And I think, you've had your own challenges, growing up on how you viewed food and whatnot. And I always, as an athlete growing up, they don't really teach you in school what you actually need to eat properly, and fuel your body. And I think, I'm a nutritionist in the swine space, but a lot of just the nutritional basics correlate between animal agriculture and human nutrition. And just, sitting in those nutritional classes in college and just understanding, these are the main components. And this is actually how your body breaks things down and utilizes them, and, what you actually need to function.
Yes, and that is what I learned in school. I love school, and I learned so much about the nutritional value of things and how your body utilizes them. And yes, that is so very important. But when it comes to eating disorders, or when people have a hard time with body image, a lot of things are emotional based. And we are not taught that. We are not taught the emotional side of food. And if we can shift our mindset around that, it opens up a whole new journey for you. Or that's what I want to help these women with on this journey, is hopefully finding one thing, if they don't even know what it is, because sometimes we don't know what our feelings are, but hopefully being able to pinpoint one thing that those women can write down and let go so they can move on with their journey. Because even acknowledging one thing shifts everything to a whole new mindset. Just that one thing.
Just taking one step forward. How many people are in your coaching class?
So it actually launches November 1st. So I'm currently having it open and signing up. It's through November 1st through December 27th. And you do not have to be on every call. That is just extra support for you. And I like to say that I like to set intentions and not goals, because intentions are from within, and intentions, it's not like a hard set thing. You can work on it. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It can just be something little, which I feel like as moms, we put ourselves up on this pedestal that it has to be all or nothing. It can't be something small. It's not something we can work on. but that is not true at all. And honestly, most of the times, the things that we're thinking in our head are not even true. And we have to just learn to step back and acknowledge that, because honestly, the first thing when it comes to like healing your journey with food is acknowledging your feelings, which I know a lot of us don't like to do, but that is what the first step is feeling the yuck to move on and get better.
Most definitely. How are you so like as a mom, how are you changing how you talk about food with your kids?
I try to use certain times as a lesson. And so one thing for me is my kids are now getting to the age where we are getting to sports, which is a whole new thing. I'm not in the little toddler stage. Like, I do have a toddler, but I also have older kids. And so we're running around for practices and have to figure out what or how we're getting dinner in without having to go utilize fast food. Yes, my kids eat McDonald's, but not very often. But I try to find ways to navigate that. And so one of the things I like to do is, so that we can be present and spend time together, is I will pack some sort of picnic lunch or picnic dinner or something. And even if like one kid has to be somewhere and then another kid has to be somewhere else, instead of shuffling everyone home, because I feel like we all know how many times we go into town a day. So to eliminate that, I try to pack a lunch or dinner and have it in the back of the car. And I just pop the hood of my SUV and we sit and have a picnic in the back of the SUV, and we get to share things about our day instead of hustling them back out to the house and having 10 minutes to ourselves. I try to be able to be present and share those conversations, because those are the things your kids are going to talk about when they're older. I remember when mom took us to the park during practices and we just had a picnic and talked about the day. Or and you're getting your kids outside, so they're probably going to go play at the park after. So it's not only about sharing that time together, but it also is going and getting them moving and going and having fun with their siblings. We do pizza on the trampoline nights. So we'll go have a picnic on the trampoline as a family. And then after, usually the kids will go jump on the trampoline and we just go play outside, and the kids love it. And they ask all the time, hey, can we have pizza out on the trampoline? Like, they just love it. And it's fun to see their faces light up.
And then the mess is outside, not in your house.
Yes, that too. That definitely a lot less cleanup. Another thing we've been doing is, for now, when Kansas gets super cold, we probably won't do it anymore, but we've been utilizing the fire pit a lot and going out and doing s'mores and roasted hot dogs on the fire, and just using our Ranger as a table or like a buffet table, and the kids just come eat and grab whatever they want. And it is a lot of fun. And it's honestly building memories with them. That is what food is about. Food has always been the center of celebrations throughout the lifespan. Because what is the center of funerals? We usually have lots of food.
Yeah.
What is the center of birthday parties or card nights? Food. Like, getting together. Food has always been emotion based. But I feel like just as a society, we've kind of shifted away from that. So I really want to help families or help women slow down and acknowledge those things, because I think the biggest eye-opening experience for me was when I studied abroad in Italy. And that was a life-changing experience for me. So as a online student at K-State and a mother of two at that point, I decided I've always wanted to study abroad. Like, I wanted to in high school, but I kind of had a limiting belief around it that, well, I'm a mom now and I'm married and nobody wants to, or like, I'm not a traditional college student. Nobody's going to talk to me, and I'm not going to make any friends on this experience. So why would I do it? But one day I was just like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to put myself out there and I'm going to do it. And so I applied for a nationwide scholarship called the Gilman Scholarship and got selected out of thousands of applicants to get a $2,500 scholarship to go towards my travels. So my plane ticket was free to go, but I went to Italy for 4 weeks, technically 5.
And what did you do there?
So I had a food and wine class, which is funny now, but I honestly didn't drink any wine before I went to Italy. I believe I was 23 when I went, but I really hadn't tried wine at that point. But I signed up for a food and wine class because the director of that class actually used to be the director of the dietetics program at K-State a long time ago, and she had retired, and that was what she did to stay teaching at K-State, was to go study abroad every year with students.
Oh, that's awesome.
And go teach a class. So she would get to go every summer to go to Italy. So I got her too, and she is honestly one of the best mentors I've ever had. And she told me at the end of the thing, she's like, your husband has to be a winner. He has to be so supportive of you for you to come do this, and you're going to do great things. Like, you put yourself out there and you did the dang thing. And I was like, I didn't know how much I would appreciate that now. Then I think I kind of blew it off, but now honestly, that's where everything shifted for me, because you see those posts online about, well, if I get to go to Italy, I'll get my crap together. But people don't have to go to Italy to get their crap together. Not that I'm downplaying going to Italy, because yes, you're in a whole new culture and everything. It's just different there. And it is definitely a learning experience. And I highly encourage everyone to go to Europe, or go if you have the chance, because it is very eye-opening. And it not only was my thoughts about food changed, but how I saw how they used agriculture over there also changed. Like, my mind around it changed, and everything shifted for me. The biggest thing with food that changed for me was they don't view things as nutritional value. They view things about the people they're with, the experiences they're going through, or the conversation that happened during that time. They also talk about the aromas, the flavors, like how things pair together. And that causes you to slow down and acknowledge how your body and you are feeling when you go through those things. And they would sit and have a meal for 2 hours, but it's all because they know how to slow down and have those fun conversations and gatherings still. And they do that every night. It's not like a once a month thing. It's like an every night thing.
It's a different way of living than it is here.
But we used to be that way. Mm-hmm. That is where I would love to help people shift back to that, because it made me feel so much better. Like, I just felt better as when I was over there. But that is why people post those things on social media, that I need to go there to get this experience. No, you can bring some of those things home, and you can experience that joy and being present with your friends and family, just like you would in Italy. You can bring that stuff home. We just have to make it a priority, or be intentional about it, that's what we want to do for ourselves and our families.
How are you using social media today to kind of help change the image on how you talk about food and share your story?
So I primarily use Instagram, which the funny thing is, I've always been an Instagram girly. I've been there since 2012 when it came out, but I never really jumped on the Twitter trend or anything. I just have always loved Instagram, which I actually have a photography business on the side, because I'm multi-passionate. I love ag, I love pictures, and I love food. So just all these things that really don't all match together or blend together. But I think that's ultimately why I have always loved Instagram, is it started as pictures. So I have really started using Instagram as I do some reels, and as well as posts. And I just, whatever comes to my mind during that day that I feel like needs to be said, I put it out there, because every single step of how I've gotten here, it's because I put myself out there. Without putting yourself out there, you're not taking that step to move forward.
Most definitely. And I think that's how you find opportunities and just, find the next thing.
Well,
you have to be willing to be vulnerable.
Yes, you have to be vulnerable, even if it's not vulnerable with somebody else, but being vulnerable with yourself, which, like I said, nobody wants to feel the ick. But if you're ready to take that first step, and you might not even think you need to take that first step, which I'm hoping that even with this program or my program, that you might not want to get vulnerable and sit down and be in, like, set an intention for yourself. But hopefully by the end of the program, you can think, well, that girl has the same thing as me and she's putting herself out there and she's being vulnerable. Maybe if I try it, I can start seeing those same things that she's experiencing. And I feel like when you have a group of people that understand that and taking those first steps, really big change happens.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing your story with us this week on Coffee in the Barn. How can people find you on Instagram or sign up for your class?
So I have a link in my bio, so you'll have to go to my Instagram, but it's Kourtney.Talkington on Instagram. Sorry for the dot, but somebody already had taken my name on Instagram, surprisingly, because Kourtney with the K kind of just, but that's how you find me on Instagram as well. I think you're going to link it in the show notes too, maybe.
Yep, will do. For sure. Well, we like to leave our audience with an action item for the week. Do you have an action item that you can share with our audience?
I would say set an intention for yourself, or set something or write something down that pushes you to grow. Because like I said, and I'm not even saying go and tell your mom or go and tell your best friend that you're doing this. You can just do it for yourself. Do this tiny thing for yourself. Even as a mom, this will take like 15 minutes, even if you're out on your morning walk, if that's what you enjoy, because I know I do. Think about it. And even if it doesn't come to you right away, just pause and slow down and think for a minute, what do I need for myself? If we don't nourish ourselves, we're not going to be able to nourish the people around us.
That is great advice. And I need to do more of that myself. Hopefully once I'm on maternity leave and maybe slowing down a little bit, we'll see with 2 other kids running around at home if I can, be a little bit more intentional on, making sure I'm prioritizing myself, or at least taking that walk once a day.
Even if I can't do it in the morning, because I am not the biggest morning person, I am currently working on that. But even if it's at night, it still works. And enjoy the sunset, enjoy the sunrise. Like, that is my biggest thing. I just want to go outside and enjoy myself and give myself a few minutes to think, because I feel like we just get told that we need to be doing all the things when honestly we can say, hell no, we do not.
We need to take a break and breathe.
Yeah, just breathe and take time for yourself, because like I said, if we can't take time for ourselves, we're doing our family a disservice.
All right. With that, thank you very much, Kourtney, for joining us this week. And yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
Yes, I am so glad that I could help you out this week.